This meeting is being recorded.
And with us being a virtual Lions Club, I do have a question out there to see how stringent they are on that. I know what the policy says, but I also know that a Lions Club was recently developed and their name is COPE, K-O-P-E, Cyber Lions. That has nothing to do with their location. COPE actually stands for Night of Prevention and Education. And so they are dedicated to working against substance abuse and substance disorders. And so, you know, as I was thinking about one of the potential names, I don't know how anybody in here feels about it, or even what the focus of the club is truly going to be. However, one of the options would be to be the Knights of the Blind Lions Club or something to that effect. Obviously, there's a tie into winter camp. So if we want to try and work in winter camp in some form or fashion, that is always an option. Another idea would be the location of winter camp, which is Clear Lake. So while we're waiting on a definitive answer on if we can do something other than geographical, this is your guys' club. So now take a moment and feel free to throw some ideas out and let's talk about them.
My suggestion would be Clear Lake, since that is where many of us met and started gathering every year.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Well, do you want to make that a motion there?
I'll make the motion that we call this new Lions Club Clear Lake Lions.
And that's Margaret, isn't it?
Yes.
Margaret, do you want to add the name virtual in there, or do you want it just to be Clear Lake?
Oh, Clear Lake Lions.
Virtual Lions.
Yeah, so Clear Lake Virtual Lions Club?
Yes.
I think
Now,
it's
is
important.
Clear Lake, is that the lake that's up near the winter camp?
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually, the winter camp is actually called Clear Lake Camp.
Oh, okay.
That's actually the name of the facility, other than the Battle Creek Public Schools Outdoor Education Facility, which is a big mouthful.
Really virtual camp.
But I think it's a good idea to put virtual in there, because then people kind of know what kind of a club it is.
Correct.
Yes.
So as an identifier.
All right, so we got a motion from Margaret to name the club the Clear Lake Virtual Lions Club. Is there a second to that?
Second.
second that.
All right, Roger, did you get the second? There was probably anybody on the call seconded that.
I did hear Shirley say that, so.
Okay. All right, so.
Yeah, I did too.
All right, so we'll have a moment for discussion. Now's your opportunity to say the pros and cons of that name, anything that you want before we take a vote on the name of the club.
One more thing, the Clear, that's just spelled the regular Clear, C-L-E-A-R, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Did we want to put winter camp in there at all?
No.
No, I like it the way it
I think
is.
it narrows it down too much.
Yes.
It narrows it too much. It's
Yeah.
better. It's a good,
Well, I don't think it narrows it, but it would make it long.
yeah.
Yeah,
And not
good.
only that, but to me, it seems like it would restrict the membership, because people who know of winter camp would think, oh, well, you have to be a winter camp
All right.
person to belong to that club, kind of thing. That's just my thought.
Shorter is
Since
better.
this is, will be a virtual club, that makes it a specialty club. So having the virtual in there is a good idea also.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Can also watch this to record for some period. By staying in this meeting, you can set
Somebody's jaws is talking pretty loud.
It's mine. It's mine.
Yeah, no, so any other discussion on this before we take the vote? All right, so if you are part of the new Lions Club, we're gonna vote just with you. So existing Lions, please don't vote on this.
Correct.
And we're gonna start with the nays. So if you object, please say nay. Okay, the motion passes.
Yay.
Yay.
All right,
That was
first,
easy.
yeah, if this is how everything's gonna go, we're gonna be in good shape. That was
Good
super
job, Dave.
Yeah. All right, so we have a name. I think probably another non-controversial area that's not going to cause a lot of heartache is the Constitution and Bylaws. So though you as a club has the opportunity to develop bylaws from scratch, I would recommend that we just use International Standard Club Constitution and Bylaws. That'll give everybody a firm understanding of where LCI is. That's Lions Club International. That'll give them an understanding of what international believes the club can do. And from there, you can always add on or take off once the club gets up and running and you guys have more of your footing underneath you. But that gives you a very solid foundation. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
That makes sense a lot to me, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Can I
That's a
get
good
a
idea.
motion? Can I get a motion to adopt the Lions Club International Standard Club Constitution and Bylaws for
This
Clear
is
Lake?
Phyllis. I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a
I
second?
second it, Wayne.
All right, this is your opportunity for discussion. So anything you guys want to say about the Constitution and Bylaws, because that is going to be your governing documents.
So this is Roger. I'll just make one comment. We had a club recently who, and not that this would happen, but they lost their 501c4 designation because they didn't file their annual, I forget the name of it, but it's a form you have to
It's a 99.
99 thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they were trying to get their 501c3. They said, okay, we'll get a 501c3. Well, the government wanted their bylaws. And so they said, well, we use the Lions Standard Constitution and Bylaws. And they say, we want your bylaws. So as a document, so what I'll say on this is, as a document, we just need to put on there somewhere that this is the Constitution and Bylaws, even though it's internationals for the Clear Lake Camp Lions. We just need to identify it as such. And so
Yep. So basically what we would do, Roger, is just copy all the verbiage and just slap their information on the front.
Yep.
That way it's theirs, but it's already pre-formatted. All that's good to go. And then, with the majority of the club, they would be able to amend the bylaws as necessary. So
Right.
thanks for pointing that out, Roger. And certainly we will make sure that's taken care of. So. All right, any other discussion on the bylaws? All right, we're gonna do the vote in the same fashion. So again, we're just gonna do the new lines and we're gonna start with the nays. Are there any nays? All right, the motion passes. So now you guys have a Constitution and Bylaws. We will go ahead and we'll get you a copy of that sent out so that you guys know what you signed up to. Just think of it like the Affordable Care Act. You had to pass it to find out what's in it, okay? All right, thank you. You guys are paying attention. All
those
right.
of you who have been Lions probably are already familiar with it. So
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, no, absolutely. Another thing that we want to cover tonight are the dues, okay? So the dues are slated to go to a vote at the International Convention at the end of next month. It is anticipated that a dues increase is going to be passed, and that'll raise the dues over the next 3 years to $50 from the international side. In addition to the international dues, we have multiple district dues, we have district dues, and you're going to have your club dues. So when you hear all these dues, you try and figure out what does all that mean, and is it necessary, and what do you want to have? So as Lions, if you do any fundraising, your dues your fundraising goes into the activity fund, which then has to go back to the public. We're not allowed to use any of the public funds for administration or anything like that. So what the club dues enable you to do is, let's say that you wanted to, assist another line with their dues because they were having trouble, or you wanted to do a project that didn't necessarily fit into a public service, maybe like a party of some variety or something like that. And so that's where those dues come into place. Dues are billed on a semi-annual basis. So every 6 months, the club is going to get their dues notice. And so we need to figure out what kind of cushion the club wants for their administrative. Now, there are activities that you can do to increase your admin account. So for example, if you hosted a Lions only event and you only took money from Lions, you could put that into your admin account. So if you hosted like a poker or euchre tournament or something like that, or things, if you do a tail twisting and your tail twister finds members, or they have happy dollars, or any of those things, all of that goes into admin. So how many clubs do it is they collect money at their meetings. For example, my club bills you $3 every week, whether you attend or not. If you have a meal, then there's on top of that, but the $3, that covers all of the dues and everything like that. Now, some people say $3 a week, $12 or $15 a month, that's too much. And I think that our dues are probably one of the higher ones out there. So now's your opportunity. Before I start throwing any kind of crazy numbers out, let's hear what you guys have to say about dues.
Can I ask what the Lions national dues are at this moment before the possible raise?
Yep, they're $43 at the moment.
Should we go through the Michigan and the district ones too?
Yeah,
Yes.
so okay. So international dues are $43. They're billed $21.50 semi-annual. The multiple district dues, so this is going to be the state dues. They're $5 semi-annual and $10 annually. You have the district dues. District dues are for the members of 11B1. And you have $3 billed semi-annually, $6 annually. You have the district convention, which is another $1 each billing cycle, so that's $2. And then you have offshore convention cost, which is 50 cents and $1. So for the totals, what you're looking at, you've got 43 from international. You've got $10 for multiple district, plus the Pride magazine, which is $4.50. And then district dues, you've got $9. So that would be the absolute bare minimum to get you covered currently. And again, that is anticipated to go up here. And basically what they're going to be doing is it's $1, $2, $2, or some, I can look that up exactly, but so basically right now, if you think $70, that's kind of where you're at for the bare minimum, knowing that that's going to go up to, let's say, 75. So anything that the club wanted to do on top of the 75, that's where you guys are at. I know that when I spoke to the folks that I did about joining Lions, we broke it down from that level and said, okay, what is $75 over the course of 12 months? And at that rate, you're talking $6 a month. And so if you break it out into more manageable terms, it starts to make a little bit more sense. So again, turning it back to you guys to keep the discussion going.
The report for the
Now, if we chose $70, would that mean $70 for the whole year, or $70 semi-annually?
Yep. So if you did the bare minimum, if you said you did not want to work on your administrative account at this point in time, then you would basically be looking at $70 increased to 75 over a 3-year period. Now, that's not going to give you guys any wiggle room initially. But as you look at your fixed expenses, your expenses are generally lower than what a traditional club would be. So Jackson Host is going to provide a Zoom account for you guys to use moving forward, so you don't have that expense. I'm sure that some clubs in the district may be willing to buy you a banner, a bell, those kinds of things to get you up and running. So the $70 would be an annual amount. And then we would work with your treasurer to figure out how that is captured from you guys, whether you pay on a monthly basis, a quarterly basis. That's something that we would work with the treasurer to make sure that you guys are squared away on.
Okay.
And, you know, as far as the dues initially, so whoever talked to you about joining the Lions Club should have informed you that initially, again, the reason that we're doing what we're doing and on the timeline we are is to avoid the entrance fee. The entrance fee is $35. There's a charter fee. So all of those things will be waived because we're in this unique period with COVID. And so they're waiving those currently. The other thing that they should have told you is that for your first year, your dues will be paid for you. And so the dues issue is really not going to come into play until you guys are in your year, 2 and beyond. One of the ways for you guys to start working on your admin account is if you said, okay, I personally don't have to pay dues for the first year. Maybe rather than taking that $70 that I would have paid in dues and paying it in dues, I'll put it towards the club admin account. That would be a way to get some dollars in there. Obviously, you're not locked into that, and that's going to be a personal decision, but throwing that out there for food for thought. So,
Sounds good to me.
I think we get billed, from what I was just reading in some of the literature, they would send a bill to us a month after the charter is approved. So a month, like say if the charter gets approved this month, then in another month we would get a bill for the dues for the first 6 months. So, so that's what we'll be looking at, trying, getting that money together to get that going for you.
And Terry, you were still covering the initial dues from now until the end of the year. So Terry's going to pick up the dues from now until then. And then I believe whoever was going to sponsor the Lions that were coming in, they were going to pay the dues. I know that's what I said I was doing for mine. Roger, if we have people that don't have sponsors yet, or they're not lined up, that's something we can take offline and figure out how the club gets the money for the first 6 months and then the second 6 months.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Hey,
so,
this is Sean.
Yeah.
So one of the things I think that we need to be considering as far as the membership of this virtual club, we're not going to have meetings in person. And a lot of times those local dues would go towards, the various things that would, cost an expense for gathering in person, whether it be food costs or speaker costs or, whatever. So I don't know at what point we need to have this determined, but I think it would warrant some good conversation with the incoming club members, because I think that we should have a little bit more intentionality around this. We don't really have anything to compare it to. If we compare ourselves to Jackson or one of the other clubs, well, they're in a significantly different situation as far as like meeting in person and whatnot. So I personally think I'd like to have some more immediate conversation with folks. And I'd also like to know when we need to have this determined.
Yeah, so the initial dues, the bare minimum ones.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the local chapter dues.
Yeah, so for the club dues, like I said, there's no real rush on that. I was walking you through why you would have the difference. And again, that's something that, that doesn't need to be determined today. We know as a bare minimum, all the other dues have to be covered. So we're looking at 70 increase into 75. I'm with you, Sean. When you look at the fact that host is going to cover the Zoom, when you look at the fact that, there's really not a lot of cost on top of that. The additional cost that you guys would be looking at would be, okay, for the treasurer to mail out dues, if they mail out dues, if they're going to handle everything via email, over text, then that's another expense that you could look at.
Well, I tell you what, one of the things that I would like to entertain and perhaps put a seed out there for people to think about is that one of the things that's near and dear to folks is winter camp. And so I think that for us to be able to either do some outreach to folks who wouldn't normally be able to have some of our local club dues go towards sponsoring some of our own members. Again, just throwing that out there for folks to kind of think about as we move forward.
Like a scholarship fund or something.
Yeah. So
Correct.
the only thing you would have to be careful of in that instance, Sean, and again, I know you're just kind of throwing it out high level, but we have to be careful because Lions cannot help other Lions unless they're doing it from the admin account. And if they're doing it from the
that's what the local club dues are, correct?
Correct. So that would have to come out of the admin. But that being
That's what I'm talking
said,
about.
what you could take a look at doing instead is if the club has activity dollars and they're donating to winter camp and saying, hey, we want this to go to a camper, from there's kind of I don't want to say a gray area because I don't think it's a bad thing, but there's a way to get the money out of activities to winter camp because winter camp is a service and it's a state, you're covered there. So
Be like a scholarship kind of thing.
yeah, absolutely.
You think people should put in a request for this or,
No,
Right.
so I'm with Sean. So as we get the word out, there may be clubs willing to donate money initially to get the club up and running, both in their admin and activities. And since we're talking about dues and starter and seed money, I'm happy to share with everyone on the call that Jackson Host is donating $1,000 to your activity account to get you up and running.
Oh, wow.
So as soon as we get all of the paperwork done, the charter done, and we know where to send the money, then the club's going to have $1,000 in their activities to start out.
Wow. Very generous.
Thank you.
That's great.
So
No, we want
right
to see
now,
it succeed.
yeah. So right now, kind of what I'm hearing and what I would agree with is the club willing to make a motion just to mirror the minimum amount of dues, which is currently, we'll call it $70, to match international, multiple district, and district dues, cover all of those with further discussions as to what's going to happen on the club side. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Can someone make that motion? Again, I'm looking for a camper.
I make that motion.
Okay. So Nancy made it. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, and
Dan?
Dan seconded it. Any discussion about dues? Any questions, concerns? Knowing that this is evolving discussion and we don't have to have all of the answers today.
Okay.
This is Roger. I just have a question. On the state dues, you mentioned it was 10. My roster says 1450, but then I heard you say 4.5 for the Lion Pride.
Correct.
So is that Lion Pride extra above the 10?
Correct. So what I'm looking at is an actual breakdown. So I've got international dues, and then I've got, if there's a spouse, I've got head of household spouse.
Yep.
So Yeah, the 1450 is the total that you're paying into the state.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
that'd be the question if people, I mean, do you have an option to get the Lion Pride or not? Or is it,
No,
I don't know how it
that's a non-negotiable.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's you're getting it whether you want it or not.
I just wonder if it's accessible. You know what I'm saying?
It can be if somebody emails it to, to the person, because I know Frank Cunningham occasionally will email me the Lion's Pride.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, and I think that's a great point that was made. I think we're, as silly as this sounds, being the Knights of the Blind as an organization, we're kind of venturing into uncharted territory. I mean, to have a club that is primarily composed of blind and visually impaired individuals, it's going to be, we're going to find out some things, and we're going to be able to go back to international and say, okay, so we've been the Knights of the Blind since 1920s and we still can't figure this stuff out. So you guys should be excited about it, because now you are turning very much into advocates, even more so than you already were.
And educators. I spoke
Yeah.
with Wendy at the state convention afterward and let her know that, you have blind lions who are attending your state convention, and there were no programs available, in alternative formats.
Very good.
And we're holding it in Muskegon next year, so I'm gonna make sure that every blind lion gets their, format of choice.
Perfect.
It's a great
No,
point.
and this is the type of service that I'm so excited about, because we do so much for the visually impaired that aren't lions, yet the folks that are here that are contributing, that are wanting to serve others, you're kind of limited. And so, yeah, it's time to fix it. And I think this group right here has the energy and the passion, certainly, to get that done. All right. Any other comments, concerns before we take a vote on the dues? All right. All those in favor of supporting the minimum dues as outlined, we'll start with the nays. Are there any nays? All right, the motion passes.
yay.
Yay. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember those old Nextel commercials where they're like done, they're just hitting their side button and it's like chirp and they're done. That's how this meeting is going. So awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right.
Roger, this is Linda. I have a question about the bylaws. Will those be sent to us through email?
Yes, we will get that to you via email, and
Okay.
you can take a look at it.
It'll probably be a PDF, right?
So it is a PDF, but I know that B has expressed an issue with PDFs in the past.
Oh, PDF is horrible.
So we may need to just copy and paste that.
Yeah, it just depends on the PDF. Some
Hey, can
PDFs work, some don't.
In some PDFs, there's a link at the bottom where you can change it into Word if you happen to have Office on your computer.
Yeah,
Well,
Word is the best.
All right, well, we will send it out in a Word document. We'll just copy and paste it and send it that
Hey,
way.
David?
Actually, Roger, if I may interrupt, an RTF file would be best because not everybody has Word.
Okay.
RTF.
Sean,
Rich
you had
text
something?
format. Yeah, so I
What does that
actually do
stand for?
rich text format.
Rich
What's
text
RTF?
format.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Hey, so this is Sean. What I was saying is I actually do document accessibility remediation. So if you could please make sure that I receive those. And then if there are any folks who have a particular format that works best for them, see, one of the things that's going to happen is just copying out the text doesn't necessarily mean that everything is formatted properly for a screen reader to communicate the appropriate things. It doesn't mean that things are tagged or labeled correctly. It doesn't necessarily mean that the hierarchy or heading structure is correct. So if you could please make sure that I have those as soon as possible. anything that needs to go out to folks digitally, I would like to kind of take a look at it before it even goes out.
Okay.
Good thing, Sean. Thank you.
No, I appreciate
Absolutely.
you quarterbacking that, Sean. So we'll get it sent over
That's
to
a
you.
great thing.
We'll send it over to you and then we'll let you disseminate.
Let him do his
Yep,
magic.
appreciate it.
I can take
I
them
should
out.
be able to do some remediation through Adobe Pro too. So if folks need, I should be able to create accessible PDFs.
A lot of us who do
Outstanding.
have JAWS have the OCR option, but it'd be nice not to have to use it sometimes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a big help. Thank you very much for that, Sean.
Yeah. I'll send those to you, Sean.
All right,
This is Roger.
now,
One more question before you guys move on.
Yeah.
If there's anybody here, and there's some people who do not have email or don't have access to email, if they need it in Braille or large print or a different format, can they indicate that on some way? I don't know if on the application for the club, if maybe there needs to be something that says what format you would like to receive your communications in. Because I know not everybody, has email availability.
I
yeah,
do
so,
not have email, and I would prefer it to be in print because I have a reader.
okay. So,
I would
so,
appreciate.
yeah, print, I don't think is gonna be an issue.
Mhm.
Braille, that might actually be a club project. That might be something that has to be created because off the top of my head, I do not know that this is gonna be in Braille anywhere.
Well, if there's a regional library nearby, because like here in Muskegon, we have a branch
John said that
library.
he's able to make accessibility, so maybe he would have access to do that.
Or Scott may do it for us, at the state library, but I know here at our local library for the blind, they'll emboss, stuff in Braille.
Okay. Okay, we'll take a look at that. So yeah, if you have a preference as to how you would like to receive things, if you could get that turned in, that would be super helpful as well. So we can make sure that we have that information as we're communicating with you guys. All right.
We do have a list of folks who prefer Braille.
Okay.
So I can probably start that list and may need to follow up with some folks to see what they prefer, if a reader
Okay.
works or if they need Braille. It'd be a pretty big document in Braille.
Yeah, no, it
Well,
will.
it may be, but if that's the preferred format, that's
All right.
up to the person.
All right, now I've saved, I don't know if it's the best for last, but certainly I think that this one may be a little bit more challenging than the other ones. So the last thing that we really need to get through tonight is going to be club officers. Now, the good news is we have had some folks that said they were willing to step up. And so we will start there. And if we get a drum roll going here, as far as president, we had Phyllis M. We'll go there. I was gonna attempt it, but
That's fine.
I know Roger had issue, and I'm looking at it, and I'm saying we're just gonna go Phyllis M. So
She even tutored me on it too, and I still couldn't get it.
yes. So Phyllis, were you drinking when you submitted that, or are you serious?
No.
Okay, all right. So Phyllis, let's give Phyllis a round of applause. She stepped up to be president.
Yay, Phyllis.
Yay, Phyllis.
All right, thank you so much.
Unless there's a
Phyllis.
contender out there.
Yeah.
Phyllis, what's
yeah.
your last name?
Mick Banwell.
Okay.
Mick Banwell.
Mick
McBanwell.
Banwell.
Right. There you go.
That's not how it looks, just for reference for everybody, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, now, secretary. It is a very critical position and not necessarily very user-friendly at the moment. And from a blind or low vision, it may actually be inaccessible. So we are very grateful that Sean Welker has agreed to be secretary. So Sean, I know that in a previous life, you said you have done that. So I don't know if you're a glutton for punishment or you think perhaps we've improved it dramatically, but thank you so much for stepping forward. So if we can give Sean a round of applause, that would be great.
Yay. A hard time.
I was drinking.
Yeah. You notice I did not give you that same option because I already knew you had to have been. So
I did
All
want
right.
to share with the group, though, that Gary Anderson is, I think, our past district governor, said that they have somebody on Lions International who is recreating their website from the bottom up. And they'll no longer have to be My Lion or LCIF, different websites, all going to be integrated. And she is working on, accessibility as well. So
Very
there's
good.
hope.
Yeah, so that is a past international director. So he's made it up a little bit higher than past district governor, but
Yeah, no, he's somewhere up there.
yeah, no, he's definitely gone high.
Good man,
And,
good man.
and actually, just as a side note, Gary was actually the campaign director for Douglas Alexander, who is the current international
wow.
president. So yeah.
And I think he's been appointed to be on the board as well.
Would not surprise me whatsoever. So, all right. So we've got the two out of the Holy Trinity kind of identified. The last one being treasurer. Now, unfortunately, we don't need a drum roll and I don't have a name to unveil. This is where things start to get a bit interesting. So we are looking for a treasurer, someone who is going to be in charge of billing members, paying dues, and all of that fun stuff. So if you like money, you like counting, you like being somewhat organized, this is your calling. So is anybody excited to be treasurer? Okay, let's rephrase that. Is anybody willing to be treasurer?
Well, it got quiet.
Yeah, it did. I had to check my connection. I thought maybe I dropped off. But,
Dave, let
No,
me
you're
ask you
good.
this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying you're good.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say, would the treasurer of Jackson Host be open, or what do you think about the option of having them be an associate member? And because this is, another one of those jobs that is going to need some visual assistance.
Associate members cannot be officers.
right. Right. So we would not be able to provide a treasurer. We would be able to assist. So they have said they're happy to mentor, assist any way they can, but the actual treasurer is going to have to come from within the club.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, what we could do in the interim, especially because we're not talking about having dues as an issue right away. They're not talking about club dues. It may be an option to have Sean be the treasurer secretary until we get some clarity there, just so that we've got those roles fulfilled. I see Sean unmuted right away, so he stopped drinking.
Are you drinking?
So the only other thing I could think of, Terry, would be possibly the district treasurer kind of helping us out there as we get going on that. So
it really isn't as difficult as it sounds if you have somebody who mentors you and who knows what they're doing.
yeah, I think the big issue that your club is going to have right away, because I mean, right now we've got to identify what's our focus. What are the service projects going to be? When are we going to meet? What type of dues does the club actually need to have for their scholarship? Like those kind of things, those are going to be evolving. So, initially, I don't necessarily see the treasurer doing a whole lot, simply because there's not a lot built out. And so this is going to be whoever steps into that role they're going to be designing it in a format that makes sense for your club, as opposed to how it makes sense in my club or Mary Ann's or Rogers or Terry's. It's really going to be something specific to the Clear Lake Lions Club.
We do have some folks that
Nancy?
that aren't on the call that, there might be some people that didn't call in that might be willing to do that.
Nancy's available to, has a
I
question.
was gonna say, I would take over the treasury as long as someone would help me.
All right.
Just to get started.
Okay.
Nancy, is that a tall glass of wine in the background there?
No, I was drinking a Pepsi earlier.
What was in the Pepsi? Rum?
Nothing other
Okay.
than Pepsi.
Okay.
I was gonna say it must be rum or bourbon.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
absolutely. All right.
Dave, I think
would
you had
rather
an,
have a piece of cake than drinking.
All right. All right. Well, Roger, take her name down before she changes her mind.
got it.
Nancy
I've got it.
Tobias.
Well, Nancy is a successful businesswoman, so I'm sure that she can keep track of money. So,
All right, good.
Oh,
good.
thank
Well,
you, Nancy.
I love to
Everybody.
spend it.
Thank you.
Yes, everybody.
Yay!
Yes.
thank you, Nancy.
Heartfelt thank you to
You're
Nancy.
welcome.
All right.
Nancy, what's your last name?
Tobias.
Spell that, please.
T as in Tom, O, B as in Bob, IAS.
All right.
Spell that
So-
again, I'm sorry.
T as in Tom, O, B, IAS.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we have a president, a secretary, a treasurer. We've got a name, we've got bylaws, we've got dues planned out.
What about a vice president?
So not a requirement. So let me run through the other folks that we have that have indicated they want to step forward. So we have Lindsay LeVar. She said that she was going to be a director. And then we've got Gina Rowell, who said she wanted to be the service chairperson. And so with that, we have all of the basis that we need for the club moving forward. Now, if someone is interested in being vice president and jumping in the queue to work with Phyllis and to eventually take over, absolutely. If you're interested, let's get it out there.
Linda?
It got real quiet, I'm gone.
Oh, okay.
No, I was just asking a question, I didn't want the position.
Okay, so this is fair warning for future reference. If you bring up an idea like a service project or something, be prepared you are automatically voluntold into that, okay? So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Yeah, no, so in all seriousness, we would be looking to build out that pipeline. Now, one of the things that the club is going to have to continue this discussion on, when you look at Phyllis, Sean, and Nancy, is going to be, are they going to do it for 2 years to get the club up and running? Is this a 1 year? Because if it's a 1 year, we've got to start looking pretty actively into getting folks up there sooner. So for everybody who stepped into a position, you have mentors in the Jackson Host Lions Club that are happy to assist you any way that you need. You also have all of the folks at the district level. And so this year, Roger is the GLT, the leadership. And so he would be able to get you pointed out into a different direction, as well as you would have all the resources at the district level. You have myself and B kind of as the mentors to the club. And so there's going to be lots of people to get you guys pointed in the right direction. And so thank you very much to everybody for stepping up.
Can you do one more thing for us? And that's to clarify what the associate members' roles are in the club.
Yeah, so the associate members are going to be active in the club. They are going to, the associate members, just by definition, belong to another Lions club. And so the club, the new club, is going to be looking to you for guidance. So we have some folks that have previously been Lions that are coming back. We have several brand new Lions who just think it's awesome opportunity. So for the associate members, you're going to need to kind of help steer things. And so as we're getting into the meetings, as the club's starting to forge their path forward, if they find themselves at a rock and they're kind of stuck, that's where you can say, okay, this is how my club's handled it in the past, or I think this is the way that makes go, because you are really going to be supplementing the overall knowledge based on your understanding of Lions as a whole. Does that make sense?
Those of us who are already Lions and want to be involved with the new club.
Yep. So you as well are gonna, the associate members, if you want to break it down just super simple, basically your mentor, for what that's worth. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be expected to run the club, because you do want the officers to have an opportunity and the members to kind of decide what their path is moving forward. But again, just to make sure that they understand Lions as a whole and anything that you can do to support them.
Help them to grow.
Yep,
I think
absolutely.
there are going to be a number of current Lions who are interested in being associate members. From the winter camp community. So
yeah, especially knowing that, all the heavy lifting has been done at this point. We are certainly on the back side of the hill, and we're starting the descent there. Not saying that it's going to be easy moving forward, but all of the heavy lifting has been done, and so now it's just going to be putting the pieces together exactly how this club wants it and how the members do, and off we go. So that is it as far as the mandatory items that we had to cover and identify tonight. Probably the next course of action is going to be, when does the club intend to meet? What's the frequency? What's the day? Obviously, the location has already been determined because it's via Zoom, but that is open for discussion. So if anybody has any thoughts on that.
Hey, David, just
Hey, this is Sean.
Go ahead, Sean.
Okay, so I know that there are a few folks who mentioned that they do not use email, and that's fine. I can provide a phone number, but for those who do and have regular internet access, I'm happy to create like a Google form or some sort of a survey that you could access and just put in your preferred times that you would be available to meet, and then we can just kind of have one point of contact to compile all that information, and then we can send that information back out and hopefully get a majority who can attend at a time that works for most of us. If that's something that people would be interested in having done, I'm happy to organize that.
There you go. Your secretary hard at work already. We're gonna triple your pay, Sean.
David, I have a one question about officers, and Sean, thank you. That's a great idea, by the way, because I can tell you from my own experience that it's hard to get a meeting together. So
yeah.
Anyway, I was going to ask about membership chair. Is that a requirement for the charter?
I do
It's
not
just
believe-
someone that can be on the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I think
that may. Hold on, I've got a little cheat sheet here.
Have you identified everybody on this call, what they're going to be, if they're a full member or an associate?
Well, the associates on this call would be Rosemarie, Marianne, if she's interested, B, myself, Cheryl, possibly. I don't know if you want to be an associate or not, but everybody else pretty much is going to be a new Lion, I think.
So how many do you have confirmed?
We had, well, on my list is, it's over 20. Okay. So not everybody's on the call, obviously, but we've checked with everybody and they said they were interested in going forward. So I think there's like 24.
Okay, so do you have the names, addresses, date of birth?
I've got all that stuff.
Okay, then,
And I've sent it to Dave twice. So
awesome. Okay, so we can just get him the rest of this information and we can put it on the computer.
right. Yeah, there's a couple of
We can
birthdays
go
that I'm
forward
still
with the
missing.
EIN number also.
I do have updates on a couple of things, but so I've got, because Nancy Tobias actually fell through the cracks and she wanted to be part of this and we had missed her. Anyway, so she's like 24, number 24. So
Awesome, Nancy.
awesome.
Thank you.
And then the other thing I was going to ask about was, would there be like an induction that we would do for our Lions? I was reading a little bit about that in the cheat sheet from LCI.
Yeah. So,
and how that would work.
So
like a charter party or something like that, you know?
Yep. So to kind of wrap everything up here, we talked about what's going to be the charter event. The thought process being it would be nice to get everybody together and do this in person. And so kind of as we've brainstormed, trying to get some information for you guys, we really looked at a couple different dates. So there's summer camp where not everybody attends, but that would be an opportunity for a lot of people to be together, and we could do it as a hybrid. So if we wanted the folks who were at summer camp and then the folks who were unable to attend summer camp, get them zoomed in, that would be one option.
I mean, it's going to be August 12th, 13th, and 14th, in case you need to know the dates on that.
Perfect. So that's option number one. That would be the sooner of the dates. Another option would be winter camp. So obviously you're talking quite a while before the actual party took place. Not the worst thing in the world, because basically what we would do if we said, hey, the majority of people are going to be at winter camp, we think it would be special to do this at winter camp because this all originated at winter camp. Basically what we would do in the interim is we would do a Zoom call, and the installations could be done virtually. We would try and get some dignitaries on there to give you guys some words of encouragement, and we could do that at any point moving forward. And
at
so
that point, you would mail out people's Lions pins and stuff.
yeah, so as soon as we submit the charter, all of that stuff's going to be coming. And so if we do a virtual party, then yeah, we would send out the membership pin that says charter member and all of that stuff to the Lions. If it was a, we're going to get together at summer camp, then we would hold all of that. If it's a winter camp, again, I think that we mail everything out. We do a kind of an informal Zoom one and then go from there. So this is your guys' opportunity to share your thoughts as to what you think your charter party should look like.
I have a question, another question, I'm sorry. Is this club going to meet on a monthly basis?
That is what Sean's going to be working out with when he sends it out. So the questions that really are going to be on the form that Sean's sending out are going to be something along the day of the week, the time, and the frequency. Some Lions clubs meet weekly, others meet monthly, others meet bi-weekly. It's really going to be up to this club to determine all of that information.
Or some do twice a month too.
Right.
A suggestion, if you have your charter party at winter camp, it might encourage some of the other persons who are not members to join.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if we don't do the actual formal charter party, I know that Roger and B are going to be hard at work trying to figure out a special recognition. Again, for that very reason, it'll get some excitement in the room. maybe some folks that were on the fence, it'll give them some encouragement to do it. Just sharing this with the group. So as I was making the calls to say, hey, do you want to join? I actually had one lady tell me no, but I was a Air Force recruiter in a previous life, and I kept asking questions. She was not the first person that told me no. And it wound up that she was embarrassed to tell me originally she didn't want to be involved because she didn't know how to access the technology. And that was her holdup. So there may be some of those folks in the winter camp community who don't feel comfortable with the Zoom technology to where she said no. And so again, if we get that information out, you know, and that may actually be a service project for this club to say, hey, you know, let's start with our own. Let's get everybody connected. Let's increase their accessibility and things like that. So yeah, absolutely. A great idea to have some kind of recognition at winter camp regardless.
So I think this is something that I could easily add as part of that survey, just including, you know, do you think that you'll attend summer camp? Do you think you'll attend winter camp? Are there other possibilities of when we would have the formal officer induction other than those two times?
Yeah, so the other option, Sean, would be just a virtual meeting at the club's discretion. So if the club said, we would like to do it on a Tuesday evening at 7, then we say, okay, we gather the troops that have to be involved with that. So whether it's going to be Terry, whether it's going to be Kelly, the international dignitaries, we get all of them lined up and we come back and we say, okay, this is the date that works. And then we get that information out there, because not only are the campers going to be, well, now the Lions, not only are they going to be invited, this would actually go out to all the Lions. And so with it being a virtual installation and club charter, I mean, this would be a way for you to publicize it not only within the confines of 11B1, but actually throughout the entire state of Michigan or online. If you guys wanted to get a Facebook page up and running and start, you know, sharing that information, because yeah, you know, Sean knows very well the reach of technology because he has a friend from Arizona that's joining. So, you know, that would just be the other question on there. So the in-person events or the in-person hybrid events would be summer camp in August, winter camp in February, or just any other day virtually.
Can I say something?
No. Yeah, yes.
Please. Hey, what I was thinking, if we did it at winter camp, that also is going to give you another 6 months of experience as a club that you'll be able to share at winter camp to for new members too.
I heard about a service project that we might do at winter camp.
What's that?
It's packing items for grief bags. There's a lady I met at the convention who runs a nonprofit where they put together backpacks for, they call them, it's kind of like Maggie's, I guess they call them comfort bags. So, you know, so items for children or adults that are in grief. And so, you know, they kind of, she lost her daughter, I guess, and to some sort of a disease. And so that's what they do, is they help people that are grieving, and they put things together for them. So I can get some more information about that, but it would be collecting items and then putting them together, you know, into these bags.
It'd be kind of fun.
So
I
you know,
think
be
so
something.
too.
So you know, it's something we could probably work on as well with our group as they come to camp, to bring some of these things. We bring raffle items. We always talk about bringing raffle items, but maybe we can bring some of these things that are could go in these bags, and I can get everybody the information on that too. So
Well, that'd be great, Rich, because on our district convention, we did ones for toiletries for a charitable organization that, you know, gave out bags full of toiletries to those who were in need.
right. Because the thing about service with this club, I've been thinking a lot about it because, I think about, I'm in a club and we're together and we go do things together. We're kind of spread out. So, there's an opportunity for possibly mini events, in your areas where you might, there might be a cluster of folks and like say A1, where Tyrone and where Linda and, Gina live, there's groups that meet together like for support groups. And so maybe there's an opportunity to do some sort of a project in that area. And then as people are in their own areas, maybe they can partner up with another Lions Club, even become an associate member of a local Lions Club. And if they find out what they're doing, to go do service with them. So it doesn't necessarily, because we're a virtual club, doesn't mean we don't do service. We just may do service in a different way than what, we're all used to. So it's an opportunity for us to kind of think out of the box and be creative about how we help humans, help humankind.
I have a question, Roger.
Sure.
As an associate member, if we're involved in a Lions project with our main club, can we also, and we participate, can we also use that for the virtual club to give them some, service hours or no?
Yeah, I think so.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, because
because like we have an upcoming Wings of Mercy project that we're raising funds for here in a couple of weeks here in June, and I always participate in that. So, I'd like to share those hours with the virtual club if we can do that.
absolutely.
As an example, Gina met several of the folks from the Detroit area clubs, and of course they were trying to recruit her.
Yeah.
And but I did suggest that if she gets on the list for their newsletter, she could find out what kind of activities are happening, and if there's something that she's interested in doing, she could contact. They would be glad to have you contact them and say, hey, I'd like to help. And so then it's a matter of you do service, you keep track of it, and it all goes to the credit of this club.
Yeah, and we'll go over service reporting, what classifies and all that as we get going. Tonight was more of a housekeeping type meeting, and we have checked all the boxes. So we are on our way. We've got our homework. The next step is really going to be just for Roger to take the information that we gathered tonight through the votes to get that submitted in, and we are all set. So then international processes it, and then we just go from there. So Sean's got some homework. We'll get him the documents to get the Constitution and Bylaws out, and then we'll work on the meetings and the charter party. And then once we get that kind of ironed out, we'll get another meeting scheduled, and we'll make sure everybody's invited to that. So any final questions, concerns before we start the holiday weekend here? I know some of you are already drinking.
Water. Just water.
Or will be after they start working.
The rest of us, we were waiting to participate, and now we're ready. So any final questions?
No.
Do we need to explain your role, David, as a guiding lion? Because I think
Me and Dave's.
that's
Yeah.
we
So
have-
I am
you
here
have to
for the
put that in.
comic relief. That is, I'm here all week. Don't forget to tip your waitress and your waiters. No, seriously. So I am kind of your point man. So though you're going to have associate members in the club, you're going to have very knowledgeable people from the district and everybody else here to support you and help you out. I am your point person. And so if there's any questions specific, how do we do this? What needs to be done? The same way I kind of guided you through tonight, I didn't make any of the decisions for you. I said, hey, here are the things that we need to cover, and then just kind of guided you through the process. Now moving forward, my role steps back. And so you're going to have your president, your secretary, and your treasurer kind of leading those conversations. I'm just kind of listening in and interjecting as I see necessary. And if you guys get stuck and say, hey, David, what do we do? I say we pour another drink and we make stuff. For those of you who don't know me, I've been introduced many times throughout this process, but I've been a Lion since, off the top of my head, 2014. I've served as president, secretary, treasurer, zone chair, and district governor last year before Terry. So I've been there, done that. Not saying I have all the answers, because obviously anytime you're dealing with people, it's always a bit of a wild card. But I do believe that you either wow them with wisdom or baffle them with BS. And I am great at both of those. And so we'll have fun. I always tell everybody in life, you want to bring, take, and have. And so if you think about Lions, you want to bring a positive attitude, you want to take initiative, and you want to have fun. And if you do those three things, Lions is going to be great. You're going to enjoy it. If you're not having fun as a Lion, you're doing it wrong. That's just how I feel. It's all about the service. And as I've got to meet all of you throughout these calls and the individual calls, I have very high expectations for where this club is going to go and what they're going to accomplish. And I'm happy to be part of the ride. So I'm just a team member. Like I said, I am not going to be the driving force. I'm just here to guide you. So
But let's introduce B also.
yeah, and B is on the call here. So B is a glutton for punishment. She is actually Jackson Host's, I believe, third two-time president. She's wrapping up her second year, and she has done a tremendous job. You all know B from winter camp, and so B, if you want to share a couple words.
I think the most important thing that you can have right now is enthusiasm about what it is you are doing as a club. Coming together and actually working together is going to be amazing. And you guys are going to be amazing. I know that just from being at winter camp with all of you. So it's going to be a great ride.
All right. So that's all I have. Terry, do you have any closing remarks?
Nope, I am, my end of it is I'll be working with Roger and Dave Hill, our district administrator, to get all this information on the computer and to get you an EIN number for a 501c4 document, and you're going to be Lions. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yay!
Roar.
Governor-elect Kelly, do you have any remarks? Because this is going to span the 2 years. So do you have anything you'd like to share with the club, Kelly?
Well, I've actually started drinking, so welcome. I'm very proud that Roger and Dave, that you guys have put this together along with B. I look forward to a good year, and virtual is amazing. If you guys have any questions, reach out, because we have a virtual club and it's great. So welcome to Lions.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
for those of you who have not met Kelly, she's the district governor-elect, and as you can tell, she's drinking and having a good time, so she's going to be a lot of fun for you. She started out in Jackson Host. That's where her Lions journey began. And as part of COVID and a career change, she was unable to attend our meetings. We meet every Monday at noon. And so she said that wasn't really, working with her full-time employment schedule. And so she started a virtual Lions Club herself. So they've got a couple years of experience as far as the virtual. And so if you guys have any questions, that's going to be a great resource for us to reach out to and say, hey, how are you guys doing it? How's it working for you? And they do a little bit of hybrid stuff. So they do in-person activities and get people to participate remotely as well. So on the positive, kind of like an interesting side note, So there are now going to be 2 virtual Lions clubs in the state of Michigan, and they are both in District 11B1. So
Yay.
Wow,
yeah.
great.
So Roger, do you want to take us home and send us on to the weekend? You got anything for us?
I'm just really happy that this is coming together, and I want to thank David for his leadership in getting us through this meeting. And
Dave.
you know, and Dave Hill I thought he was going to make it, but you know, he's going to be very helpful getting us into LCI. And when I was talking to people at the district convention about this, they were like, "Oh wow, that's great! You know, that's fantastic." So everybody's really supportive of this, and I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to learn, especially those of us who are sighted, to learn what the challenges are with visual impairments and how we can, you know, how you can make this club a real asset to Lions in terms of education, because it's needed. So I want to thank Sean for volunteering to be the secretary. That's a tough one, and he's got a lot of experience as well. So it's going to be great. So I just really appreciate everybody's willingness to do this, and we are going to have another winter camp chat coming up June 4th. So we'll have the bigger group together, and we can tell them all what's going on. Say, hey, we're all Lions. We're going to be Lions.
And we're gonna roar, roar, roar.
Roger, thank you for all the work that you've done, because you've really done a yeoman's job in keeping all this organized.
Open the participant, more video, stop my video, more audio, mute button.
Well, it's my pleasure, you know, and it's I tell you what, working as I got started with the winter camp, you know, it's just become a real passion for me. So
I can tell.
I love doing this, and that's it.
Thanks, Roger.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank everybody who's,
Have a wonderful weekend.
you know, I wanted to say thank you to all of our leaders to help us, you know, help the Virtual Lions Club to get off the ground.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, you had a good team. So Rosemarie and Marianne and Tyrone, Cheryl, David, Terry. So I've missed somebody, I know, but
Let's go Clear Lake Lions.
Clear Lake Lions.
Clear Lake Virtual Lions, yay.
Virtual Lions.
So somebody needs to design a pin.
More option, open the chat reactions, but settings button, more meeting, leave button, menu, collect.
Oh, shut up.
Everyone, have a great
Kick you off
weekend.
here, Shirley, if you don't be quiet.
We already did that once.
All right, I'm heading off, you guys.
All right, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Everyone have a great weekend.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. And
Good night, everyone.
bye.
Right, I'm out of here. I did record this, so I can send a link to everybody so you can hear, and I'll send it out to the folks that weren't here so they can hear what happened. So Nancy, thanks for stepping up to be treasurer.
Oh, you're welcome.
All righty. And I guess I need to get Char's birthday.
Char must be gone.
Yeah, she is, but I thought I had it and I don't. So not a big deal. I'll call her. So all righty.
All right. You have a good weekend, Roger.
You too.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.